So we're looking here at the spreadsheet that I keep for going to sound to see. And I've changed a little bit, so I've got the check numbers here, and I made up these check numbers. Now you might ask, why do I bother with the check numbers? Well, in case there's a dispute about how much money we turned in, okay, to the office, I can say, well, here's the check numbers, and here's the date in which they were submitted. Okay. And so what we're going to try to do today is look through here the list and say, okay, how many boys and how many girls are going? This is info I had to give to Miss Jen today. And then we're going to say, how much was deposited? So for example, on January 6th, how much money was deposited? So we're going to use two different things, the COUNTIF and the SUMIF. And you previously have watched a video in the Quest that tells you about the SUMIF and the COUNTIF. So let's go and look at here, how did we get the number of boys? So if I go into the formula and I get rid of the equal sign there, okay. So we start typing in, the formula is going to say COUNTIF okay. So we say COUNTIF, and so remember we need the equal sign, but I'm typing in without it so you can see it in bigger print. COUNTIF, and where we're going to look at, we're going to look at G2 down to G17. So COUNTIF G2 to G17. And we're going to say, let's count it if, so this is the boys, if it's an M. Okay? And so we'll go put our equal sign in the front of it. And we hit enter. And we have 11. Okay? And now you say, well, I'll just pull that sign down, but, well, I forgot to put my dollar sign in. So if I were to pull it down right now, what would happen? So if I were to pull it down, we'd get we'd get 10 boys, right? Because I hadn't changed it to M. But also, we would have changed from G to G17. Why did we get a different number? Because in this one, when we pulled it down, you see we got G3 to G18. So when we moved down one, it assumed that we wanted to change the range by one, but we don't. So let's try and fix that. Let's go up to the original, and you see when we're here at G2 to G17, if I push function F4, you see how it put those dollar signs in? Okay, so that was mentioned in the video. So now, when we pull down the formula, we get 11. Well, we don't really want 11, right? We want to count the girls, but at least the range now is correct. It's still G2 to G17. So if I go in and edit and put an F in there, now we get 5. Oh, but you see, what have I done? Okay, so I've put the F in column in the first row. That's where I want my M. And now there's my F. Okay, so we don't want to get mixed up, the boys and the girls. So we have 11 and 5. So next, let's use the COUNTIF. So let's count how many of our deposits were in each of the days, and then we'll add them up. Okay, so we're going to go in this cell, and let's see if I can remember how to do the SUMIF. Okay, so we'll say SUMIF, but remember when you use that, so I'll use the equal sign, equals SUMIF, and then what I want to do is I'll say check in here, so from F2 to F17. So from F2 to F17, all those guys there. SUMIF, S-U-M-I-F, F2 to F17. Now let's do that thing where we do the function F4, and we added those dollar signs. So in this part, look for the date January 6th. Okay, so I could write in 1/6/2017, but it would be smarter, wouldn't it, to just say put this what's in the cell here, because that way I can also look for the other two. I can drag that down. Okay, so think about that. Instead of putting in the actual date, I put the location of the date. That way it's possible to move the formula down, and the next one it'll automatically look for 112, and I've pulled it down again, it'll look for 117. Okay? And so what are we looking for? We're looking for I7. I7. Okay, so for the dates, if I find the 6th, then add up what's in the column D, D2 to D17. So D2 colon D17. Let's do that same thing again, the function F4 in close parentheses. Okay. So if you look at it, there it is, SUMIF F2. Well, I guess it's a little bit off the screen for you there. Okay, so if we look up here, we can see it. So through the dates, look for the date that's in I7, and we do that, and we get 1020. Now, does that make sense? Well, 6 times 100 is 600, 6 times 70 is 420, so I thought they would say there's 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 checks were deposited on the 6th. So let's see if we can pull that down. So we pull that down, and we get our 3 amounts, the last amount just at 170. Now let's use the sum. So we'll say equals SUM equals the sum. We'll say, well, the sum of J7 through J9. Add those up, 27, 20. And now just to verify, we say, well, those 3 should add up to, if I just do a sum of D2 to D17. So let's try that. Equals sum D2, D17. Are they the same? Yes, they are. So we're happy. Okay? And so now we could report our numbers to Miss Jen and tell her that we've got 11 boys and 5